Welcome everyone. This is a Mario Kart 64 one-try league playoff match between Glass and Chumbo. Chumbo in the house, Chumbo in chat, more accurately. Welcome, Chumbo. So our racers are still warming up. We will give them a few minutes. And while we do, I can explain a little bit about the format. You will see these racers play Mario Kart 64 time trials, but doing so in a head-to-head fashion where there are no resets, and they are not allowed to do any type of retry in order to, get a better time if they make a mistake. Excuse me, I'm recovering from a cold. So that's where the one try part comes in. The racers have one try, they'll pick a track and they go head to head, and whoever gets a better time during that attempt, no matter what happens, they take the track point. And the matches are divided into a best of 5 sets, and each set is decided by best of 7 track points. So 4 track points will win a set, and 3 sets will win a match. There are 2 jokers that the players can leverage to their advantage. They can pick these once during each match. One is a fast lap joker, where each player will use all their mushrooms on a single lap, lap 1, and see who completes that lap the fastest. And then the second type is a shortcut joker, in which a player can choose a track and use all available shortcuts on that track in order to complete a 3-lap race. And whoever completes that 3-lap race with the lowest time is the winner of that shortcut joker. Hey, thanks TMP. TMP, how does that volume sound now? And we got a bit of a glitch here on Chumbo's stream. Hopefully that evens out here. Alright, perfect. Thanks, TMP. See, I did manually pause Chumbo's stream for a moment there to see if I could get it to even out, and it looks like that may have done the trick. Alright, it looks like our competitors should be ready to get going here. The first pick goes to the player with the lower rank. You can see their time trial ranks here. Glass is 158th and Chumbo 191st. So accordingly, the first pick goes to Chumbo. Chumbo is deciding to go for maximum variance right away. And I'm going to adjust the sync of these players as they get into the track here. Everyone has a bit different latency, so I'm able to sync them up manually on my end. So when I say variance, this track has a lot of difficult driving terrain and this huge ramp jump that they are approaching now. Chumbo takes a very conservative jump. Glass a bit more aggressive, but nothing too dangerous. You see Chumbo having to go over to a wide stretch of grass there, and that has cost him quite a lot of time. So with this difficult terrain comes the uncertainty, and the ability to complete clean laps reliably. And so we expect to see here Glass in the lead by about 1.5 seconds, but we expect to see those lap times vary significantly from lap to lap, unlike some other courses that don't have as many obstacles. Chumbo has gone way too far left here. He takes a tumble as a result. We'll have to see if he's placed on the far side of the river. He is not. So he'll have to try and take that ramp jump again, but the boat actually makes you blow up. Oh, Chumbo flirting with disaster there. So Chumbo has to take a very conservative jump to avoid the boat. And he is pretty far behind at this point as a result of that tumble into the water. Chumbo completing lap 3 here. Glass taking care of business. I think he's realized this. I think Glass is probably also watching the stream or listening to it in the background. He takes a very conservative ramp jump, just wants to get across. Chumbo takes also a conservative jump. Not much to be gained here, not enough time to gain back the ground that he's lost. Glass coming to the exit here, hops up that cave climb and crosses with a respectable 1:59.75. Chumbo coming to this final cave climb and crossing with it would be a good PAL time of 1:44.77. And so with that, Glass strikes first. All right, the pick now goes to Glass. And we will see where he is taking us. Thank you for the good luck, Haddock. Domino noting, as always, when you race DKJP properly, you are not able to save a ghost as you go off-road. And once you get hit by those flying Kiwano fruit, it's all over for the ghost. Glass, the higher ranked player here, but Chumbo does have a few tracks on him. I think 5 to be exact. So there can be upsets at any moment, especially in a one try. Glass taking us to Wario Stadium 3 lap. A very difficult track with a lot of technical obstacles. So Glass going for that start SSMT, but I think not getting to charge it. This track has many different obstacles that can trip you up. These sloped walls, if you bump into them, will make you tumble rather than just bounce off. Both players taking that first hairpin turn pretty cleanly. And this shroom spot is always difficult. And we see Glass going too close, taking a tumble on that wall. That is always the danger. Chumbo with a fairly clean section there. We see neither player advance to do the flip-flop MT, which is a pretty expert strategy. I'm not surprised that they're not throwing it in here in the one try. It's even questionable whether you use it at this level in regular time trials attempts. So Glass having taken the tumble, but driving a little more cleanly than Chumbo, and I think gaining a bit of ground. So we'll see when they cross the first lap exactly what that differential is. Alright, and despite the tumble, which typically costs at least 2 seconds, now the differential is less than 1 second. It was about 0.9. So Glass is definitely making up ground here on Chumbo. Again, pretty clean section there. Chumbo got the better of it, and so he remains in the lead at this point. Chumbo with an excellent shroom. Glass also with an excellent shroom. It's very difficult to get that angle right and remain parallel to the wall without going too wide and without going too far into the wall, which causes that tumble. Chumbo missing an MT before those little bumps there, that hurts because those slow you down quite a bit. And we see now Glass is just about drawn even with Chumbo. Just little mistakes here and there have eaten away at Chumbo's lead until it's, I think, just about gone at this point. Okay. Chumbo still slightly ahead by a few tenths. Glass had made up about 0.6 of that 0.9 original deficit. So it is anybody's race here in this last lap. Hey Slim, thanks for the good luck. Alright, players moving towards the back half of the lap. Dead even at this point. So it's going to come down to execution. In this back stretch, it looks like it's just kind of a big straightaway, but these polygonal walls are infuriating and really easy to catch the corners of, which cost you those precious tenths every time you do that. But both players making it through there pretty cleanly. This is neck and neck, and I'm not sure. I don't think I can call this. Chumbo might be slightly ahead, but it also depends on the sync being perfect. Oh wow, Chumbo taking it by 0.06. That is a long course to come down to 0.06. Chumbo notes this is not a real PR. This may be a shortcut cartridge or something that he has. Well, kudos to Chumbo for hanging in there, and then also kudos to Glass. He really brought it back after that tumble. So the pick goes to Chumbo. All right. So Chumbo takes us to Chaco Mountain 3-lap. This is also a fairly technical driving track, not as many obstacles as Wario Stadium and much shorter. However, the texture of the walls can vary, and sometimes they can just eat up all your speed, and makes it kind of an infuriating track sometimes. The mushroom strategies also can differ on this track, so it'll be interesting to see what our racers choose. None of the mushroom spots have a real advantage over the others, except, very minor differences. Okay, so we see a difference here. Glass using his mushroom on that upslope. Chumbo is saving all three so far. Despite that, Glass is just barely ahead at the beginning of the lap. Chumbo missing an MT there on the uphill. That hurts a little bit, but it's not a major mistake. Chumbo is ahead at this point in time. Not surprising given he had an extra mushroom in the bank and they basically crossed lap 1 at the same time. Chumbo looks to maintain a half-second lead at least, and that is a very good lap, 33.19. Ooh, Chumbo getting hung up on that angled wall and then getting bounced around. That has basically now put this back to even. Glass, meanwhile, taking care of business here. We will see who gets the better of this hairpin turn. Both pretty close. Chumbo closer, but bonking the guardrail as well. Glass looks to be ahead by several tenths at this point, and I think he will take this. Yep, by about half a second. I think that unfortunate meetup with the wall is what did it in for Chumbo there. But good times for a one try. Alright, the pick goes back to Glass. He is up 2-1 in the set, and probably wanting to go up 3-1 to have a comfortable few set points here. So we'll see what kind of pick he brings out. Alright, Glass with the bold pick. Going to Moo Moo Farm. Some of the most frustrating RNG in the game, or some of the most lovable, depending on your point of view and how kind the moles are to you. So this course is dotted with these mole holes, and the moles are truly random. They are not on a set schedule like many other elements are in this game. And they just pop up and down at random and make you explode into the air. So we see both players taking a fairly safe line. Chumbo risking it to go close to the fence. It does pay off. And he crosses a good bit in front of Glass. But Glass didn't take a hit from the moles there. It was just the terrain that tripped him up. And this is very hilly, bumpy terrain. And very frustrating. Oh, Chumbo there, knocking right into the bridge support. It's very uneven terrain, which is very frustrating to drive. It makes it hard to get your drifts and mini turbos right. Alright, Glass eating into that lead, but still behind at this point. It may come down to if someone has a stray line and takes a hit from a mole. Chumbo missing an MT there, and Glass is slowly reeling him back in, but is there enough track left? Oh, Glass taking a tighter line, and this is going to be a photo finish. Couldn't quite make up the difference. And he ends up just mere tenths behind Chumbo. Pretty clean driving. You can see Glass's first lap, kind of uncharacteristic, and he probably could have taken this if he had driven like he did on laps 2 and 3. but that is the nature of the one try. Alright, Chumbo. Choosing a driving track against a higher ranked player. Luigi Raceway, completely devoid of any kind of obstacle or feature. Really boring track, to be honest, and it demands perfection. We will watch to see how these racers use their mushrooms. The most common strategy is 1 on the first lap and 2 on the second lap. Glass so far looks to be ahead, taking a tighter line around that big curve. Oh, Chumbo getting knocked around as he exits the tunnel, and it's a minor mistake, but those are the types of mistakes that really punish you on Luigi Raceway. Chumbo with a few, what we call a kart dance, as he is unable to set his slide for that straight stretch mini turbo. So Glass at this point probably with a comfortable, 3/4 of a second to 1 second advantage due to a couple small bobbles. But it is always possible to bonk a mushroom or something, take a wrong line through the grass. Nope. Very cleanly executed by Glass. Chumbo went a bit too aggressive, probably feeling like he had to try to make up some time. Ended up with his mushroom running out before he returned to the road. Alright, Glass exiting the tunnel now. Despite Chumbo's mistakes, it looks like he's eating a little bit into the lead, but he is going to run out of room to make up the time as Glass comes to the finish line with a solid time of 1:40.79, and Chumbo exactly 1 second behind with a 1:41.80. So with that, Glass has our first set point of the night. Alright, the pick goes back to Chumbo, I believe. Oh, I'm sorry, Glass. I am forgetful. Glass with a second bold pick with Yoshi Valley. If anyone remembers playing this game, Yoshi Valley is a danger-filled track with lots of ways to go tumbling to the valley floor. And the fastest route goes through the spinies, as we call them, which love to spin you out, and even occasionally that action sends you to the valley floor. This start is very difficult. Chumbo may be getting the cleaner of it, but I don't think that matters too much. Chumbo going for that drop MT, and he gets it cleanly. That puts him slightly ahead at this point. Chumbo also with a very good hairpin jump, but Glass gets a solid one as well. At this point, they're basically neck and neck, so we'll see what these lap 1 times are. Oh, we see Glass going through the grass here. Despite this, the lap 1 times are the same. Chumbo almost forgetting to use that mushroom. So that's going to cost him. And Glass is going the fast route. You see Chumbo going a safer but slower route. Not willing to risk going through those spinies again. Chumbo in trouble here as he tumbles to the valley floor. These new strategies that Glass is showing here as he's hopping through the grass once again were recently discovered about a month ago on this course. And they believe it or not, even though you're driving off-road the entire time, it allows you to go a bit faster than going all the way back up to the road where the finish line is. Alright, Glass in trouble here as he takes a tumble. Chumbo not indecisive and takes a tumble. Oh, and then that's what I was referencing. There's this conveniently missing section of guardrail, and it's just diabolical. Chumbo hits a second spiny, but Glass is here on the grass once again to close out his victory. So pretty messy, classic one try for Yoshi Valley, and you love to see all that action. Chumbo now getting squashed by the egg just for the entertainment value. And sadly, Chumbo cannot even claim that this is a pal time with a 202.09. So that will complete the set, and set 1 goes to Glass. The pick goes to Chumbo. It would in any case, as he dropped the previous set. The pick always goes to the loser of the previous set. But the pick is his in the natural order anyway. Yes, Slim, I was also disappointed to not see a Slim style brought out here. Slim made a discovery here that hopping off some of these hills was actually faster. And that led to the larger discovery of the strats that Glass had showcased in that match just a second ago. So in a way, we can credit Slim with developing this idea of hopping through the grass. And that has led to a new wave of world records on Yoshi Valley 3 Lab. Alright, both players with a very conservative crack jump there. Both of them kind of had bad awkward lines leading into it and took it safe. So they are tied right now going through the cave, but let's see what that penguin has to say about it. And the penguin says to Chumbo, "You shall not pass." He gets hit by not one, not two, but 3 penguins. I'm not sure I've ever seen that many penguin hits in the same cave before, so that award goes to Chumbo Gaming. Glass is on cruise control for the moment. Chumbo taking it safe again across the crack jump. As Glass prepares for this second shroom, he saves it with a conservative shroom. I was expecting Chumbo hits another penguin. He just loves those penguins. I was expecting to see the shroom used at the cave exit by Glass, but instead he waits and uses it across the ice. I suspect Glass is tuned into the stream and by now knows that Chumbo is rather impossibly behind. So Glass using his last mushroom, taking out a safe line there through the cave. Chumbo firing that shroom and doing the line that he wanted to do from the very beginning, nailing that inside line. And we do not see the swag finish from Glass, which is highly disappointing. But we will see it from Chumbo, who delivers. Not with a good time, but he did deliver the swag finish. Yeah, Domino, we like to see the opponents finish, even if they're, in this case, it seemed like forever. It was about 6 seconds behind. So in reality, had Glass fallen in the water on one of those final crack jumps, Chumbo could have taken the lead. So it's kind of a never say die type of thing, and there have been some crazy comebacks if mistakes are made. Alright, these players are not playing it safe, and I like that. They're going to Bowser's Castle. This is Glass's pick. And they're not allowed to use a distraction coast, which is commonly used on this course, to distract those thwomps that chase you down and try to squash you. So without that benefit, oh, Chumbo bonks his shroom on the that bush there. So he will start a little behind, but that is easily made up on this course. So you can see those tracking thwomps, follow them throughout the room. You can use a ghost to get rid of those on time trials, but that is not allowed in the One Try League. They're coming now to the spiral, which is a tricky section, pivotal for good time trials times, but not usually going to give us any kind of large mistakes that would swing a one-try match. So Glass comfortably ahead at this point. Chumbo shrooming with that inside the bush swag. And Chumbo lucky to get that MT, but he does, and both players... Oh, Glass gets caught up on that side-to-side thwomp there, and that has put him slightly behind. I was about to say both players had cleared the thwomp rooms, and I think I cursed Glass with that thought. It is still a very tight race, though, and a minor bobble by Chumbo would put this at a toss-up. Oh, Chumbo again bonking the shroom, but Glass also bonks his shroom against the wall. So those mistakes kind of cancel out, and Chumbo retains what looks to be about a half-second lead or so. Okay, both players with a messy entrance to the stairs section. Ooh, Glass having a tough time of it, getting pushed way outside from that line that he had going down the stairs. And so barring any last-minute major mistake here by Chumbo, he's going to seal the deal. All right, 158.72. That's a pretty solid one-try time. Chumbo notes only one track so far has gone to the track picker, which is, that's not very common. Normally, players are choosing comfort picks that they think they can defend. Pick goes to Chumbo, who's taking us to one of the shortest tracks in the game, Mario Raceway. We will have to see what strategies they use here, because there is a difficult cut to go inside a mushroom, and it's something that has to be done in time trials runs, but it's easy to miss, and so we'll have to see if they throw it in here in the one tries. Chumbo does, Glass does not. Chumbo gets knocked around a little bit, but honestly that probably has about the same result, although Chumbo now finds himself off-road. Glass at this point looking to be about 3/4 of a second ahead, close to a full second. Glass continuing to play it safe. Chumbo getting bounced around there, getting bounced onto the far side of the gap and against the wall. And so now he is pretty much out of the race unless Glass were to, for some reason, go for this cut on lap 3 and not make it. Glass goes for the cut, perhaps, and makes it through extremely cleanly, perhaps just as a statement. Chumbo spins out on one of those piranha plants, but that does not matter at this point. Glass comes across with a 116.60. Oh, and we saw the Mario staff ghost go by there on Chumbo's screen. That's never something you want to see. And you can see on Glass's lap times, the mushroom cut can shave off about a second or so per lap. You know, other driving is dependent on, will obviously affect the lap time. His lap 3 may not have been quite as clean as the other laps. Normally he would save a little bit more than that shows. Alright, so the pick goes to Glass. Hex asking, when are they going to visit the castle on Royal Raceway? We had, I think last season, a player get bounced around so much after that big ramp jump that they basically ended up on the path to the castle. They didn't mean to be there, and they got out as quickly as they could. But it was an entertaining match, if I remember correctly. Alright, Glass taking us to Rainbow Road. Beautiful sync. The road that goes, the multicolor road. Chumbo going for that start boost, Glass also. Both players getting a good tran, Chumbo catching a little bit of air. It is faster to brake slightly and stick to the road as you go down that steep slope rather than flying through the air. Based on when they are passing the chomps, Glass is a little bit ahead at this point. What can happen though in these one tries on Rainbow Road is if you get a little bit off your regular pace, you know, that's about your PR pace, those chomps are in slightly different positions. And that can lead you to not know whether to go inside or outside as they sweep left and right across the track. And that has caught up many a player. Chumbo missing some MTs here. Nothing critical, but it will add up. This is a difficult shroom spot. Both players handling it about the same. Ideally, you go a little bit of a wider line and you're able to charge your mini turbo while you're sliding, but it's a very difficult mushroom spot. And these wide sweeping turns are deceptively hard on Rainbow Road. They have these jagged polygon edges and it can be hard to track as some of the turns vary their diameter or the radius of the turn as it goes through the turn. Oh, Chumbo playing with danger there and gets bitten. He hit that thwomp there on the uphill. I think he was trying to start a slide and slide to the left of it, but wasn't able to get that off in time. And that may compound. He will now be off his pace and unsure. You know, you don't have a lot of visibility with the draw distance the N64 gives you. It often doesn't draw these chomps until they're pretty close, and you're not sure whether to go inside or outside. Glass at this point should be about 4 to 5 seconds ahead, given he was a bit ahead before that hit, and the hit costs typically about 4 seconds. Glass with a pretty clean shroom. Chumbo's line taking him too close to the wall, and so he has to turn in. Bonks the other wall. Nothing critical, but it also won't help him make up time that he has lost so far against Glass. Also, a shout out to Haddock and Slim. Thank you, fellas, for answering the questions in the chat. Both of those gamers are also in the One Try League. Glass gets another good tran. Let's see Chumbo here. Also gets a good one. but he's starting to run out of room unless Glass also hits a jump. I'm sorry, I can't remember if I finished my thought. Both Haddock and Slim are also participating in the One Try League. They are in Division 2. What we are watching today is Division 3 play. So both of them are ranked in the top 100. And so those divisions help to keep, everything as fair as it can be by dividing up the players by their ranks. Glass coming to this third shroom spot, and right after it, the final chomp, which is Chumbo's final hope. Glass is saying, nope, I'm going to go way outside. Chumbo again off pace. I think he was trying to angle back inside, but didn't have the room to do it. Or he ran out of room to make the maneuver. There was space inside, but he couldn't get his cart there. Glass is cruising to the finish line here. And looks like he'll end up with like a 103, 102. That is a pretty strong time for a one try. And you can see, aside from lap 2, pretty clean laps. And with that, Glass is going up 3-1 in this set and has a few set points here at his disposal. Alright, Chumbo's pick is Koopa Troopa Beach. So, Koopa Troopa Beach, I think having the other piece of RNG in this game, the crabs that are on the beach go erratically left and right, but that is not a big deal, typically. The bigger deal is the so-called ramp RNG, in which the players do take the ramp through the tunnel, which saves about 8 seconds or so. And it, of course, it's not random at all, but sometimes it feels like it's a little too easy to miss and that you should have made it. Pretty clean here. Excuse me. Chumbo getting the better of that first lap by about 1/10. Pretty even here again as they come to the second ramp jump. Both gamers making it look easy to get through there. Part of it is the sand actually slopes from left to right through that area, and it causes your line to drift ever so subtly until all of a sudden you realize you're not lined up anymore. But these guys are making it look good. His final tunnel. Chumbo, both of them making us nervous here. Chumbo looks to be slightly in the lead at this point by maybe a few tenths. He's going wide to avoid those crabs, and he does carry this. I think the sync may have been a little bit off, and he was ahead by a little bit farther than it looked. Solid race from both gamers, but Chumbo taking that one home. And he avoids that second set, going to Glass so far. So the pick goes back to Glass. who is going to want to defend this pick to avoid seeing the set go even at 3-3. And Glass is taking us to a pretty solid driving track in Toad's Turnpike. One of the longer tracks in the game, but with the cars and trucks that populate the turnpike, it is always a bit nerve-wracking. So the cars and trucks are not random. They're always in the same place at the same time. But similar to the chomps on Rainbow Road, that means if you get off your set pace, then the traffic is not where you're used to it being. So if you do happen to hit a car or a truck and get significantly off pace, that comes into play. Chumbo with a bit of a wiggle there as he failed to get that SSMT. At this point, they do look to be pretty neck and neck. Despite that bobble, I think Chumbo might have been a bit ahead before that. And we see Chumbo about 0.3 behind. This is a long track and a lot can happen, so that is not a safe lead for Glass by any means. And we see Chumbo with a bit of a weird line to start that mushroom, and he ends up bonking it against the guardrail. Glass still having all 3 of his shrooms. Often a dual attempt for a fast lap and a 3-lap is done here in time trials. There aren't too many tracks that's good for, because there's usually a spot that the mushroom is particularly good at cutting off-road or something like that. But on Toad's Turnpike, there's no off-road to cut, and you can kind of use your mushrooms around any corners you feel like. So Glass has extended that lead with Chumbo's small mistakes here. And Chumbo will have to hope that Glass either takes a hit from a car or a truck, or just that his driving starts to melt down. Hex asks, is there a mirrored Joker you can use on the Turnpike? That would be something else. If we could do it within time trials, I think that would be pretty awesome, but the mirrored extra version is only in the Grand Prix, which doesn't really fit with the format, so it would... Oh, Chumbo trying to fit in those extra MTs and takes a hit off that box truck, but it wouldn't have mattered as Glass comes through with a very clean 132.49. I expect Glass is very happy with that time. And with that, Glass does defend the pick and takes that set 2. So the pick goes again to Chumbo. So yeah, a Grand Prix 1 try. I do think that the community has done something like that in the past. Yeah, Haddock, maybe you can advise. You've been around a bit longer than I have. I really joined the community a bit more than a year ago. But I think there was a tournament of sorts that was along those lines. More recently, we have done... Excuse me. And obviously, Chumbo has taken us to Bowser's Castle, rather. We have done a meme format of... it was Slim and Mr. Cornhead did a no-skips run through all the cups in Grand Prix with DK and Wario. The heavyweights in this game, Chumbo takes a hit on that thwomp, manages to get through without being squished, but now he is off cycle with these thwomps and takes a spin out on that next one. So he is at an early disadvantage here with this pick. I think I was saying the heavyweights in this game are not ideal. They're used in a couple shortcut races to get the best times, but their speed and acceleration and off-road are not as good as the lightweights in this game. So I think those two racers just have an affinity to those characters, and they decided to do a meme competition, which was highly entertaining. Glass gets bounced around in that stairs section, but it will take a lot more than that for Chumbo to be able to catch up here. Chumbo with a fairly clean grass section there. That cut is important. If you go wide, it costs you a lot more time than you might think. Thank you, Dab Queen, for the large raid. And I'm not saying that to be sarcastic or anything. We have a large meme in this community. Chumbo, unfortunately, getting just flattened by Marty's cousin there. But I think this was a foregone conclusion with Glass on autopilot through the spiral. Get across with a very strong time of a 156. That's about the most you can hope for in a one try. And Chumbo with a 211.28. The thwomps were not his friend. And so Glass has broken that first pick by Chumbo and now has a pick of his own. All right. Glass going back to Wario Stadium 3-lap. Great sync this time. Glass making that start SSMT, but getting a little wild as a result. Despite that, he is a bit ahead at this point in time. Not by a lot, though. Nice clean hairpin section there. And it usually, Glass starting from the outside and going in with that shroom line ended up too close to the wall. He did avoid the tumble, but he kind of caught the wall and it turned his cart the other way. Not the worst mistake. He's still about neck and neck with Chumbo. It just allowed Chumbo to catch up. But with a mistake or two of Chumbo's own, they are once again neck and neck. Both players navigating that tricky ending section. And Glass will come across the line only about 0.3 ahead. That is far from a safe lead, though. Just about anything can happen. It's very difficult to get 3 good laps on this track. Much better shroom from Glass that time. A little wider from Chumbo, but excuse me. That type of safe shroom is what you expect to see in a one try. Glass looks to have maintained this slight advantage, but not built on it very much. If I had to guess, he's at most half a second ahead, but maybe probably not even that. And no, Chumbo has actually, I think Chumbo had by far the cleaner section of that ending of lap 2. And Chumbo has made up a little bit of the deficit from lap 1 to the point where they're probably only about 0.15 different at this point. And now Glass has bonked a few balls. Chumbo has missed an MT there. And they are once again racing neck and neck. Ooh, Chumbo playing it dangerous there. Goes a little too close and takes a tumble. That's unfortunate, because had he managed to pull that off, he would have been in really good position to edge out a slight lead. Glass now should have a comfortable approximately 2-second advantage. Glass not taking any chances with that final hairpin turn. At worst, you can get trapped on the wrong side of it, which is no fun. But he plays it safe and crosses with a 347 to Chumbo's 349. Alright, Chumbo taking us back to Koopa Troopa Beach. He was able to get the better of Glass last time they raced on that track. Hey, Yo-Yo Yoshi. Thank you for the good luck. And hello to yourself. And thank you for the raid. So the ground around that corner is kind of uneven, and it can make it hard to control your drifts sometimes. But both players navigating that pretty well. Glass bonking his mushroom there, that's going to hurt his lap time pretty significantly. And you see he is a bit more than half a second behind Chumbo as a result. Chumbo now coming up to this second tunnel ramp, making it look easy. Getting bounced around on the exit, but actually positions him for a good mushroom, so no harm done. Glass falling a bit further behind there, losing another 0.3 to Chumbo there on that second lap. This all important third ramp jump. Glass, ooh, going for broke, knowing he's behind and trying the ramp SSMT. A very difficult trick. Chumbo getting the unintentional crab swag finish. And this is a kind track to Chumbo today, as he takes it with a 123.71. Pick goes to Glass, who hopes to extend his lead in this third set to 3-1. Alright, and Glass chooses to go back to Moo Farm. A track they played earlier in the match, and for some reason I'm spacing out on the result. Hey, Kaku, welcome. I believe Glass took this track earlier. Chumbo had a strong lap 3 at the end, but was unable to close the gap. Hey, Abney, welcome. Chumbo taking a risky line, paying for it, as he gets blasted into the air by one of our merry moles. Glass probably would have heard this by now, so let's see what type of line he takes through the moles. Oh, and he takes a hit and goes over the fence out of bounds. Hitting a mole only costs you about 2 seconds, but a mole plus getting picked up by Lakitu is something else altogether. So Chumbo now having probably about a 3-second lead. And let's see how this lap 3 plays out. Oh, Chumbo perhaps just hearing the news, going all the way around the moles. And that will pay off as he takes this one home. So, not clean for anybody, but that's what you expect in a one try on Moo Farm. And we have a 119.45 taking it home for Chumbo. Glass with a sick third lap. That 24.73, by the way. That should be recognized. He did his best to pull that back. Alright, the pick now going to Chumbo. And we will see our first Joker usage of the match as Chumbo takes us to Mario Raceway Fast Lap. So this is a bit of a interesting pick. The decision to take that mushroom cut or not, it's always taken in time trials, of course, but the pressure to take it and get through cleanly is even more so for a fast lap. Pretty clean shrooms there. That start is more difficult than they make it appear. Oh, both players getting through the cut, getting a little bounced around and off-road. Chumbo coming out ahead so far. But then this third shroom is often difficult. You can get hung up in that shadow area or go into the grass, as Chumbo did. Okay. I think it was a 24.45, 44. Okay, Glass has said. And a 24.05. Excuse me. So a dramatic pick works out in Chumbo's favor, where he takes a point with that quick fast lap Joker. And for the first time in the match, he has a set point. All right. Glass taking us back to the Valley of Doom. Chumbo did not have a good time here last time. Glass also took a tumble himself, but managed to hold the rest of it together in order to capitalize on Chumbo's mistakes. A bit of a messy start there for Glass, but no harm done. Chumbo again executing the drop shroom cleanly. In contrast, Glass hits a spiny. Chumbo hung up on the fence there before the hairpin turn, and that can really throw off your line, but he recovers quickly and does get across, as does Glass. We are seeing the new strats again from Glass. Chumbo bonking his mushroom. Oh, Glass getting caught up in the fence. It is tricky, those new strats, as the terrain slopes down towards the fence quite steeply, and you have to make sure to get away from it in order to... Glass tumbling there off the hairpin. Chumbo had a very aggressive hairpin, but did make it across. Glass, unfortunately, going off onto the lower road, but off the other side. Can Chumbo hold it together here and close out this set? Chumbo coming up to this last hairpin jump. Glass again pressing, going the fast route. Chumbo makes it across safely. Glass takes a spiny hit, but that won't matter at this point. As we see Chumbo coming to the finish here. Do we get a slim style? No, we do not. Regrettable. But he does come away with the victory. In Glass's defense, his time was similar to what he drove last time, but Chumbo having a much cleaner race this time around. Chumbo says, if I knew how to slim style, I would consider it. We'll teach you, Chumbo. Oh, Haddock, is my coughing that loud? I'm sorry. I'll try my best to cover the mute next time I cough. All right, Chumbo on the board. 2-1 down in sets, but still alive. No, Chumbo, I don't have the Rona. It's just a cold, unfortunately. Alright, so the pick goes back to Glass. We just saw him pick Yoshi Valley, but as he dropped the previous set, he does get to pick the opener for this fourth set. He has gone back to Luigi Raceway. I'm counting them in and also getting a cough drop. So Glass taking this comfortably by about a second last time, hoping to replicate that success. Glass with a cleaner opening section, and now Chumbo has found some sand, so Glass is clearly ahead at this point. Oh, there's the Luigi staff ghost. You never like to see that. Chumbo opting to take the small curve this time around instead of using a mushroom. That will make it difficult to compare their lap times, as those mushrooms across the sand and the grass are so valuable. Perhaps he felt he wasn't set up to use that mushroom and just deferring it to a later lap. We'll expect to see Glass here use both his mushrooms. Okay, Chumbo going with a 0-3-0, using all his mushrooms on the second lap. Gets aggressive, and his slide cancels just before he returns to the road. So that so far not helping him catch up to Glass, but we'll see what the rest of the race has in store. Both players out of mushrooms, they'll have to drive this small curve. And barring anything unlike I've ever seen before, Glass will comfortably take this one. with a nearly identical time to what he did last time. So back-to-back strong performances on Luigi Raceway for Glass. Abney, no, they have not. We've seen Chumbo's Fast Lap Joker, and that is the only Joker we have seen. So technically Chumbo still has a shortcut Joker. However, Glass is the number 5 or 4 player in the world shortcuts, so I don't think Glass will be picking shortcuts. I'm sorry, I don't think Chumbo will be picking shortcuts, knowing that Glass is an elite shortcut player. However, we could see that pick come out for Glass at a pivotal time in order to close out the set or the match. This first shroom, very important on Calamari Desert. The train always crosses at the same time, and getting around the train in various laps becomes the main goal without getting stuck behind it or hitting it. So we see the same shroom strategy for both players, using 2 mushrooms on the first lap. That's pretty common. That said, Glass has the better lap by about 0.6 seconds. So this point he has a sizable advantage. Both players are going to get comfortably by that lap 2 train. Oh, Chumbo with a bit of a bad line into that shroom and bonks it against the fence. Glass has a clean mushroom. And now Chumbo may be in danger of making it past the lap 3 train at the second crossing. We'll have to see how that plays out. Glass continuing to take care of business, coming closely behind that lap 3 train at the first crossing, and he should be able to beat it easily, which he does. Chumbo does get by it, but has to go way out to the right. That does not help his chances any. And Glass is cruising to the finish here. Yeah, Abney, shortcut picks are 3-lap races only. So no SC flap jokers. I think the idea there is avoiding setup times and all of that may come with certain flaps that have these pixel perfect setups. All right, Glass takes a quick 2-0 lead in this 4th set. All right. Yeah, and actually I should note that Glass there had a extremely strong race on Calamari Desert that came very close to his actual PR. So, you know, Chumbo with some minor mistakes, but probably couldn't hope to beat that that clean race from Glass. So Chumbo taking us back to Chaco Mountain. Glass took this race, I think, just barely last time. Chumbo also had a strong time, and so hoping to shake things up this time around. We see the same shroom strategies we saw last time with Glass using his out of that hairpin turn. So that will make it hard to compare the lap times, but Chumbo, Chumbo bonking and tumbling his shroom on that angled mountain there. And that is a fairly critical mistake. Perhaps only equaled by getting crushed by a chocolate boulder here falling out of the sky. So, not that I wish that on anyone, but that might be his ticket to get back in the race. Glass with another clean lap. Kind of just taking care of business there. Chumbo, you can see his lap time suffered by about 3 seconds as a result of that tumble. And let's see how Glass is able to close this race out. Goes under that bouncing boulder and is driving steadily towards the finish. Glass crosses with a 1:40.58. Pretty similar to his earlier race on this track, and again, a nice solid time. Chumbo here on the rocks, as Glass has 4 consecutive match points. Hey Yathral, welcome, thanks for watching. Chumbo carefully weighing this pick, knowing that every next race the match is on the line. And he dials up the variance once again. Will we finish where we started on DK's Jungle Parkway? Oh, beautiful sync. So last time Chumbo got sunk literally by a ramp jump on lap 2. Taps the bridge post there, but no harm, no foul. Ooh, both players with fairly terrible jumps, if I may be honest, but it's hard to know how to split the difference. Chumbo gets the better of that, getting out of that grass area. I have been in those shoes. You want to just take a little bit off your ramp jump so you don't fall in the water, and suddenly you end up way too far over to the right. This cave climb, also a critical aspect of the lap. Chumbo gets up there pretty quickly. Glass gets hung up. Is lucky, honestly, to avoid there's a tumble area there to the left, where if you get into that part of the cave, your player will tumble down the slope. Alright, Glass with a much better jump this time, although honestly still pretty conservative. Chumbo with a very straight jump that doesn't take him as far left as you like to see. And as a result, he's given up pretty much all the lead that he had going into this. They are neck and neck now as they cross the bridge. Alright, both players with good cave climbs, and they're crossing the line at pretty much exactly the same time. So this is going to come down to this lap 3 ramp jump, likely. Chumbo with a much better jump. Alright, let's see if he can capitalize on it and stay alive. Despite having a better jump, he's looking like only a couple tenths ahead. So he still has to execute this last part of the lap. And Glass does have some room to make up, depending on how willing he's how aggressive he's willing to go on the cave climb. Chumbo, though, gets the better of the cave climb and comes out about a second ahead. So Chumbo lives to see another track. Hey, Pokemon. Welcome. Alright, the pick goes back to Glass. Now, as I mentioned, Glass kind of has an ace up his sleeve with that shortcut Joker. But he chooses not to pick it. Takes us back to the road that goes, the Rainbow Road. We'll see if Chumbo has learned to stay away from the chain chomps. Alright. Chumbo off to a clean start. Glass gets some air there off the ramp. Not ideal, but not a fatal mistake by any means. And in fact, Glass may be slightly ahead at this point, despite that small mistake. There's a line to go inside that thwomp, but both players wisely choosing to go outside. We see the giant DK. It's popular in Grand Prix runs where you have items. If you got some bananas, you feed the DK. I hear it probably brings good luck or something like that. Both players with equivalent shrooms there. No one really got the better of it, both of them kind of bonking into the wall as they finish. Not much harm done. And you can see this curve as it goes kind of... Sometimes it tightens up, sometimes it straightens out as you get into the straightaway, especially can catch you by surprise if you're sliding at the wrong angle. And these guys are neck and neck as they close out this lap. Okay, Chumbo having a slight advantage here. Although braking for a very long time on that downslope has given Glass the advantage once again, I think. So after you brake, you quickly triple tap the A button to get going again, which lets you accelerate far more quickly than normal. I wonder if he just kind of misfired on that triple tap. I know I've done that before. So Glass at this point may be holding a slight advantage. Nothing major. And definitely can be made up or lost by either side here. Kind of messy shrooms from both racers. Chumbo brave enough to go inside that chomp, I mean. So that should net him a bit of time, and it does look like he has edged out Glass right here. Similar with that chain chomp. Chumbo kind of squeaking in between the guardrail and the chain chomp, and Glass taking a safer line outside, understandably. But all of that has kind of added up to give Chumbo a bit more of an advantage. And so he extends his lead now by a couple more tenths. So the chomps are all kind of clustered in the middle towards the end of this lap here. And we will have to see if anyone gets tripped up by them. Otherwise, we'll have to see if some clean driving from Glass is able to get him back into this. Chumbo at this point looking like just slightly ahead. One chain chomp left to go. Glass choosing to just fire that mushroom straight. Not a bad strategy in one try. Oh, Chumbo going outside, Glass trying to squeeze inside that last chain chomp, and he runs out of room, and it traps him against the guardrail. So that should deliver the victory for Chumbo. There are no more chomps left on lap 3. So barring anything truly unexpected, he should be able to cruise to victory. Toad is certainly excited about his victory. And without that hit, hard to know if Glass would have pulled it out. But Chumbo stays alive to see another track. The pick now goes back to Chumbo. If he defends this pick, it would get real interesting. Yeah, Domino, that was a pretty clean Rainbow Road there from Chumbo. I don't know if this cartridge has his true PRs, but a pretty solid time nonetheless. Chumbo does confirm it is most of his true PRs. Oh, Young Rick, I like it. The chum back. Chumbo is considering his pick, and we're also trying to make sure that he stays clear of any picks he made in set 3. Alright, Chumbo had wanted to go to Mario Raceway 3 lap, but that is actually not going to happen as he picked the Flap Joker last set. So he is unable to pick that track for a second time. So apologies for the brief pause in the action here, but each pick here carries the weight of the match upon it, and he is giving it appropriate consideration. All right, and this has become kind of a signature move of Chumbo. For the longest time, there were no shortcuts on Sherbet Land. but there has been some discovered over the past couple years. That said, it's still not as widely driven or practiced as other shortcuts. And Chumbo has chosen Sherbetland Shortcut as his shortcut joker. Now, what I expect to see out of Chumbo is non-shortcut driving, just like normal. And we'll have to see if Glass actually goes for a shortcut or not. And from the start of it, it looks like not. So this is a bit of a hack. Ooh, Glass hanging on there, I don't know how. This is a bit of a hack to pick Sherbetland twice, when you ordinarily would not be able to pick the same track twice. But let's see where this goes. Alright, Chumbo having a much, much better cave than his first time around. And he also gets the better of lap 1 with about a 0.2 or so advantage over Glass. Now that both players are on their cycle, let's see how they handle this cave the second time around. Getting through fairly cleanly. Chumbo still holding a slight lead here. Getting a great jump across that last crack. And extending his lead by about 0.9 or so over Glass. So no player committing major mistakes at this point, but Chumbo's driving here has opened up a pretty sizable gap. It will likely come down to these shrooms, and if they're well executed. Chumbo bonks the wall, but that's not fatal, and I think he's still ahead. Unlike the penguin, the wall won't make you spin out. Alright. Chumbo, despite with the race on the line, does deliver the swag finish. And with that, delivers his third win in a row to even this set. This is a show. Chumbo notes in chat. Swag pick, swag finish. Indeed. So this is our first 7-track set, and after this track we'll have a winner. Perhaps of the match if it goes Glass's way, or perhaps we'll be even at 2 sets if Chumbo is able to take this. Alright, and here is the pick that we expected. Glass is going with a Wario Stadium shortcut joker. So, probably anyone who played the game in the past has figured out that you can jump over this first wall in Wario Stadium off these large bumps at the start. However, it's also possible to just jump right back over the wall and complete the lap in almost no time at all. So Chumbo gets the start boost, which is very hard to make it over the wall. Glass actually having trouble with this first wall part. Chumbo having trouble making it over the second wall again. This is the much harder of the 2 tricks. Glass is finally over the first wall. Let's see how he does with this second wall jump. Oh, Chumbo making it over, taking lap 1, 27 seconds. Oh, gotta go a little faster than that, Chumbo. There you go. So this is why, even with Glass as an excellent shortcut player as he is, the dynamics of a one try bring out something a little different. He does make it over that first lap. And Chumbo has made it over the second lap first try. Some pressure on here. The dynamics of the one try bring out something a little different, and the kind of picky nature of shortcuts. You know, they're easy to fail, and it's just a bit more precise driving, pixel perfect jumps than non-shortcut driving, where you can adjust for small differences. Glass does make it over, completes lap 2. But now he is still a one jump behind Chumbo. Chumbo lining up this final jump, and he will take it with a 136.97. Oh my goodness, this is not what we expected. Shortcuts are a cruel mistress, and this type of thing can happen even to the best. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to set 5. That is not the way I expected that pick to play out, but it is a frame perfect jump to make that second jump on Wario Stadium, and just cruel to hit that under pressure. Yep. So the tracks are now reset. There is no regard to what has been played in the previous sets. And the pick goes back to Glass. All right. Chumbo needs to grab some water real quick. It is heating up in this match. All right. Glass taking us to Wario Stadium, regular 3 lap. And this match was very close until lap 3 last time Chumbo had tumbled off the wall in the mushroom spot. So Chumbo proven he can go toe to toe here. We'll have to see what this match brings us. Chumbo bonking the inside there and missing the MT leads to a bad line through the next section. So at this point, Glass has probably opened up a good advantage of about a second. Chumbo's ended that stream getting a little wild, but does not tumble. As they come into this back straight, Glass probably holds at least a second advantage. Chumbo got a little out of position in that middle flip-flop area. So Glass looking with a clean and easy lap 1, crossing with a 1:15.09. Chumbo a bit more than 2 seconds back with a 1:17.30. So it is possible to make that up through clean driving and hoping for some driving mistakes. But Chumbo definitely has an uphill battle from here. Oh, but he gets the gift he needs, and Glass tumbles, and just after that, Chumbo tumbles in the exact same spot. That was the opening he needed, but couldn't take it. So as a result of those dual tumbles, it looks like Glass has maintained that 2.5 second lead. Glass with a 1:16.65, 1:16.75, so yeah, it's that same 2.3, 2.4 second lead that we had at lap 1. Chumbo gets the rare Tran off that little hill there, which will help him out by 2 or 3 tenths, but not enough to make up the difference. Chumbo gets hung up in that difficult hairpin section and ultimately tumbles off the wall. Glass taking it pretty safe on that third shroom. Chumbo with an excellent line. But at this point, he's needing a really major mistake from Glass and probably unlikely to get it. Chumbo a little wild over those bumps, but keeps his composure without tumbling off the wall. Glass is coming up to this final large jump here, looking comfortable. And he takes the end of this lap pretty conservatively, doesn't cut it too close to the wall, and cruises to the finish with a 3:47. And Chumbo with a 3:51.05. That initial tumble was more or less the difference throughout the entire race. Alright. Chumbo taking us back to the beach. He has had great success here. Hoping to capitalize on that once again. Alright, pretty clean start from both racers as they approach this all-important ramp jump. Clean and easy. Chumbo with a weird line out of it and fires his shroom, which immediately cancels against the wall. Hits a crab, and as a result, he's about 1.3 seconds back on that lap 1 time. Glass now making it through the tunnel. Chumbo with a bit of a weird line, but makes a cool, calm, collected correction to get back in line. Glass with another good lap too. Chumbo falling behind about another second as a result of some small bobbles on lap 2. I think the lead insurmountable now by driving alone. He's got to hope for some kind of mistake from Glass. Glass says, nope, I am not missing the tunnel this time. Gets around cleanly with his mushroom and is cruising to the finish. Perhaps purposefully hits that crab for a swag finish of 1:23.90. And Glass says, third time is mine at the beach. Oh, hang on, what just happened? I dropped a digit when I put in the times. All right. So both players here going with comfort picks, and Glass going back to Moo Moo Farm. Alright, so I should note that despite this being a comfort pick for Glass, something he's chosen consistently, Chumbo has actually taken the first two tracks here. The first two times they played this. So we'll have to see. Glass is hoping for a reversal of history. Chumbo a little bit out of line there, bonking off the bridge. Excuse me. Chumbo with a clean line there through the room, the moles. Gets a little risky, but it paid off for him. Glass had a more conservative line going all the way around the moles. Chumbo gets a little hung up on that entry to the second patch of moles and then takes a risky line with his shroom, kind of firing it blindly over that hill, and he does take a hit, so that puts him further behind Glass. Glass at this point can afford to be fairly conservative, knowing that Chumbo has about probably a 3 to 4 second disadvantage. Yep, Glass going all the way around that third set. Chumbo getting knocked around a little bit by the terrain and the fence. Takes 2 more hits as he comes to the finish. And Glass gets what he wants on this track. A victory. Comfortably over Chumbo's 123.75. And thanks, Duke. Yeah. I'm also hoping my voice holds up. I blink, and Glass is up 3-0 in this 5th set. So this next pick, fairly crucial. Chumbo going back to DKJP. So can he stay alive? He won this one last time to force the... Well, it was to force the Game 7 of the Shortcut Joker. But can he stay alive here to see another track? Oh. Glass gets hung up, it looked like, on the guardrail, and so gets pushed straight. Chumbo not with a great jump, but it ended up better than that. And so Chumbo is first up out of the grass and looks to be quite a bit ahead at this point. Pretty clean closing section there as they come to the cave climb. Pretty clean cave climbs from both of them. Glass looking to be about 0.6 back right now. Glass getting the far better jump this time around. Chumbo going pretty straight, and so Glass has retaken the lead. Pretty clean downhill section leading to the bridge here. Chumbo missing that MT, which is, it leads you for a long time without that mini turbo speed across the bridge. As a result, that lap 2, between the jump and a couple of those mistakes, Chumbo's about 2 seconds back now. Glass with a conservative but solid jump. Chumbo going way too far and is going to take a tumble. So Glass has this one in the bag, it looks like. And that would also be the match. Chumbo trying for another aggressive jump, but still too far. We admire his ambition. You can hear the boat beeping it, or not beeping, but honking at Chumbo as he goes across. No, Chumbo, water bad. Oh wow, how did it put you back there? That's brutal. I don't think I've ever seen somebody get put back on the other side of the river after touching the ground on the other side. So Glass awaiting the finish of his challenger. Chumbo with a 2:41.04, an impressive time. It was competitive up through lap 2, and then lap 3 gotten by the water. I'm seeing if we can, excuse me, bring these players in for a post-game interview.
What's up? There we go.
Hey, fellas. And a reminder, if you have the stream up, go ahead and mute it on your side.
Mine's muted.
That was a good reminder for me.
Slim, you don't have to ask. I just pick it as like a coin toss, sort of an Anchon Chigurh move. I don't pick, the coin picks. That's how that sort of thing works.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Slim had put it in chat too. Got to ask about that Warrior Stadium shortcut. Which, I mean, that's just sometimes how the chips fall for shortcuts. They are precise in execution, and so consistently doing that under pressure is not easy to do.
I just assume that my opponents will hit it worse than me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It is what it is.
Yep. In the end, even though that forced a set 5, you made a decisive statement here in set 5 to close it out.
Yeah. Chumbo played very well, had a lot of good planning overall. Came much more prepared this time around compared to the last match.
Yeah, I was mostly just disappointed that I kept dropping Choco Mountain because I'd just been grinding it and finally just got the legend times there. And so I really thought I had it, especially that first time. Small mistake got me, but
yeah.
What are you going to do?
It is what it is. And I kind of felt the same way after leaving KD 3 lap. I'm just like, man, wow, to think I nearly got it there too. That was incredibly close.
Yeah, it was fun though. I did not expect to pull out the 4 in a row at the end there, and the Sherbert Lane shortcut had to do it. I was worried I wouldn't have a chance.
I found that so strange at first. I'm like, he could have just picked SL non-shortcut because he already had that one open, and the chips were going to reset the next set.
It wasn't going to matter. I wasn't going to be able to pick it 2 more times, right?
Oh,
and I wasn't going to do it twice in the next set anyway. So I just figured, you know what? Let me just do it, have some fun. I wasn't sure I was going to do well anyway with how bad I did the first time.
Fair enough.
So, although I was curious to see whether or not you actually knew how to do it, and that might tempt you to try to do it. But
it's extremely complex. I'm not going to bother trying to test it out in a one try. The only person who actually did was Gianni versus Haddock, and that's because he's a mad lad and he had some room to bleed a little bit of points. So where I didn't.
Yeah, that was
Pitt can hit a first strategy for the first time in a one try. You could do it.
Maybe. but also it might look even more. It might have looked even more embarrassing than the Warrior Stadium shortcut if I tried to go for it.
Well,
But yeah, most of what I did there was just trust my counter picks, even if they didn't always work out, and just kind of follow what I'd been following since I learned how to counter pick in the first place. So that was my motive.
Yeah, Ben, it looked like you were about to ask a question or something.
I was just going to remark again about that crazy run that Chumbo made through set 4. And Glass, did that kind of affect your mental state? It didn't really seem like it, because in set 5 you came out guns blazing.
Normally, I would quantify it as like, my opponent is starting to learn a little bit from what I decide to do. It happens, I guess the big thing about it is, sometimes I make some big gambles, and that's kind of what I was doing in sets 3 and 4. I was sort of counting on similar picks to carry me through, and it's like, well, lightning doesn't always strike twice, so if I did bad on Rainbow Road once, I could probably get through it twice. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. And with Moo Moo Farm, it was just like, well, it's bound to work out eventually. It's been a comfort pick even if I lose it, and simply just because I'm very familiar, I kind of just follow through with the process as much as I possibly can. You'll notice, a lot of viewers will notice, I've been picking a lot of the same stuff throughout the whole thing. Warrior Stadium, Moo Moo Farm, Rainbow Road, Choco Mountain. I'm very comfortable with those ones, and I just kind of pick them. That's just what I do.
Yep, that's fair. I mean, there's something to keeping yourself in what you feel like is your wheelhouse, and stick with that game plan.
Another thing about nerves is if I let myself get nervous or panicky, like I did in the set against you in the regular season, it just kind of falls apart. Whereas just like, well, I have to acknowledge, like, my opponent has been rapidly improving. He's going to get a few surprise picks against me now that he's jumped a handful of ranks in the past few months, whereas I've been kind of lazy, and I'm going to be a little bit longer than that. I was hoping to put a little bit more to the grindstone, but, IRL's happening right now, and so it's like, well, he's going to push me a little bit harder than last time, so, going into set 5, I'm just like, well, I almost shut him out once in set 4. I could probably do it again.
Yep, and I was going to note that, Chumbo did come with a good strategy this round, but what you said, he has also really improved as a player over those past, weeks or month or so since you played last time, and so he's really upped his game.
For sure. He'll probably pass me a non-shortcut at some point. Once I'm done with all the legend times, which, hopefully by the end of the year, I'm going to slow down things a lot, sort of just like micromanage each of my times. Not really concerned about trying to climb super quickly. I want to just enjoy the ride. I don't want to burn out, which I did in shortcuts, and kind of back, but also kind of not really back. I guess the big thing about it is, if he ever enters another one try league, I think Chumbo's going to have a really good, solid set of picks that he can just be confident picking against everybody, and just also like keeping up with the research, which is something I wish I had more time for. Because I'd be watching way more sets of yours, Ben, but I don't think I'm going to have the time for that. I'm just going to have to kind of trust my picks when I go into the next match, whenever that will be. Where Chumbo, it seems like he saw a lot of my vulnerabilities and weaknesses, and he was able to take full advantage of them. Like KTB had a tough time with that with almost every opponent. Pokemon knew that. BWG knew that. I think you even knew that too, Ben. Pretty much everybody knows that at this point. I guess another pick that people have a fairly good time sort of snuffing me out. I don't know. DK is another one that I have a rough time with. Though I did fairly better majority of the times I played it this time compared to last few matches. But yeah, Chumbo came much more prepared. Saw my vulnerabilities, addressed them as such, and he was able to put up a good fight. So,
You're giving Ben a lot of material for his next match against you.
Yeah, he will. I guess the difference is going into the playoff match is just I'm just going to not be nervous. If I don't be panicky, if I lose, it's just going to be by my own, by my own mistakes, and I'll just have to own up to them. That's what I do. I came from a community in competitive Smash where it's like no excuses, no Johns. I know that seems a little bit cutthroat, but that's what I was. I had to remind myself like that. I was like I spent 5 years sort of always being on under the hammer, under pressure. So I'm just gonna have to do my best. We'll see what happens. I'm just gonna have to take a few deep breaths, understand that if I lose, it's because Ben's been putting a lot of hard work into non-shortcut, whereas I'm not really prioritizing that much. So, just gonna have a good time, and if I lose out there, maybe I'll challenge BWG or Pokemon for a third place match.
Sure.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to our match, so it should be a good one.
Yeah, I'll do better than I did last time.
Don't have to. I mean, I'm hoping for a good match, certainly. It's all fun. I don't come to put a lot of pressure on myself.
You're so cool and collected for the number 1 seed.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of I like to think that I kind of take a similar attitude to what you espoused. Like, if I win, great. If I lose, and as long as I drove reasonably well, then I'm all right with that.
In the end, it is what it is. I made it this far. I kind of rallied it back after having a bit of a early season slump. So, whatever happens, happens.
Oh, thank you, Duke. Well, I just wanted to ask Chumbo a question as to, it did seem like you came with a very solid strategy here. How did you feel about that, both before and during the match?
Well, in the beginning, it wasn't working out so great for me. So I didn't really come into this with too strong of a strategy other than pick more of the high variance tracks, just because, right, Glass is just a stronger driver than I am at the moment, right? If you look at the matchup, he has me on 27 tracks and I have him on 5. And most of the ones that I have him on are flaps. So, which doesn't really work for one tries. So I first started picking higher variance tracks, which, but then we kept kind of trading tracks, and I guess I saw a little bit of Glass's hands or what was working, what didn't, and I kind of went with that. I mean, I think for like earlier on, like when I got the first Moo farm, Glass, that was honestly pretty lucky. I got a weird line coming into that, like, I guess second mole patch and then going to the third, so I just went for the YOLO strat, and it worked out, and then I didn't really have to worry too much after that. But later on, I mean, I was able to just read the match as it went and kind of lean into what worked and what didn't. I was trying to listen in to just see, like, even if I lost a track, sort of what didn't seem like it was going super, super well on Glass's end, and try to, like, okay, just focus and don't worry as much the next time, because I know maybe that's not Glass's strongest track, even if I might have lost it the first time around, which I think paid off for me a bit. Towards the end, I think, like you mentioned, Glass's nerves, like having had me come back, I think I actually got a little bit in my own head with my nerves, just because it just got so intense really fast, which kind of had me kind of end up not so great in the last set, but that's okay. Such is life. It's a friendly competition. But that was kind of what was going through my head.
Yeah, that's fair. I could see how you could all of a sudden, maybe it looked like it was on track to Glass take that last set, 4-0 or 4-1 or 4-2, but the time it got to 3-3, and then I don't know how much you all knew about what was happening on each other's Wario Shortcut run, but that was I certainly would have been frazzled trying to close it out, knowing that I might actually be ahead.
Yeah, I mean, right, like I heard that Glass was struggling to get over that first wall, which gave me some hope. But the rest of it just it got such high energy on my end because I don't really know. Like I knew how to do the cut, obviously, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And you had even mentioned immediately that like I got the start boost, which was probably ill-advised and wasn't even a thing I had been thinking about. But I was just like so energized after that, which is when I was like, all right, give me 10 seconds to just take a sip of water because it was just the intensity is so high going for that. But I'm curious to hear what you had to say last.
It's like the inner game of tennis at work. You know, you never know what your opponent is thinking, and so it's kind of like that mystery sort of remains in mind. It's like, who knows how nervous he is? Maybe he's really calm and he's gotten his energy back together. It was hard for me to tell. I couldn't actually get like a solid read on that, but I was just like, you know, you acknowledge when you get so high up in there, if you're like up 2-0 or 3-0, depending on like if it's a best of 5 or a best of 7, you acknowledge that it is possible for the fortress to crumble. So it's just like, well, I built up a good rapport on the first 2 sets. You know, I have some time, I have some room to choke a little bit. If something goes wrong, you know, then my opponent definitely earned it. If I'm able to bring it back, then good for me. Um,
You have
I
to. Yeah. Sorry, go for it.
I think it was a very it was a very interesting mind game with SLSC once again. It's just like that sort of maybe it's the throwing out that possibility like he'll go for the shortcut perhaps. And that was crossing my mind. I'm just like, should I actually show it off? But then I was just like, he's gonna go non-shortcut, I'll just do the same. I
I
know
really
it's like
do wish I was secretly practicing it just to pull it out in the one try.
I kind of wanted to see the surprise like time. I was really hoping for that, and then I was disappointed when I saw the 141.
Yeah, that would be something to pull that out.
I do have to say the fact that in that I guess what was it the fourth set that you had the shortcut Joker did help my nerves quite a bit because I was playing and I was still playing to win, but knowing that you had that sort of right like thing in your back pocket ready to go just to which was pretty going to be pretty hard for me to overcome made me be able to relax be like all right even if I won this track it still would have been really hard to get past that and then getting
Yeah,
up to it I really didn't expect it to go the way that it did.
hey, that's the coin toss. That is Wario Stadium shortcut 3 lap. Maybe I will reassess it for later. It is like the sort of thing where, I play it out there and, it's like shortcuts are always a big risk. I may be good at shortcuts, but it's not the same as pull them out right now, right here. Um, I got to think very carefully about what my opponent could do, what I could do.
I was kind of
If
expecting
I'm
you to go for DK shortcut actually, just because it's like a relatively consistent one, and I feel like you could actually pull it out a lot faster than I can for the three
That
laps.
is true. There's also that like nerve of just missing the jump across because that was something where I did cut it very close against Pokemon, and so it gave me a bit of like cold feet and second thoughts there. So where I was just like, who knows? Maybe it's like
Yeah, sorry, go for it.
it's just that sort of maybe I know what shortcuts work best against certain players, but not necessarily others. So I may be reassessing that going into the next match. I don't know how much time I'm going to have to prepare, but I'm not going to have much time to stream. I don't know how. I don't want to try to push this too late because I know Ben, you, and Slim and TMP have got a ship to keep on sailing without too many detours. But I'm gonna get kind of busy myself, much like us, like Chumbo is for the next 2 weeks with the holidays and everything. So, I
I
don't
would
know
like to
what
note on DK, I currently hold the last place shortcut time that is
you
valid.
do.
Yeah,
Oh,
for a
you can
shortcut three
improve
lap.
it. You can improve it so much more. I
Oh,
honestly
I
believe.
know. I even like I didn't like break on purpose and like not finish the race when I did it, but I was like I noticed it go like oh this might actually be a valid shortcut time, and then I just finished off the third lap, and it turned out it was like 3 seconds faster than the non-shortcut world record or something. I'm like
Yeah,
you know what?
I
Let me submit this for the memes.
for the
The
memes.
Betty B of shortcut.
Yeah. If you wanted to pull off a meme, you could do it. Rob did. IMAF going for the boat shortcut. If you really want to be a true meme lord on the server, just submit that.
What I do want to know is to figure out how exactly I warped back up the ramp.
That was
I know you
crazy.
commented on that, Ben, but I didn't know that that was possible or understood. Or like I just didn't know you could do that. So now I'm like, has anyone ever done that before? I don't know, because it must be some like checkpoint didn't update because of where I landed or something. But I don't know
wasn't
how I
paying
could.
much attention to it myself.
So what happened was after I like missed the ramp like twice in a row. When I got over, I'm like, haha, or the first time I missed it, I got over, I'm like, haha, let me just drive into the water. Like, this is over. Because I'd known you'd already gotten over it all 3 times. And then I
Mhm.
drove into the water, and then it warped me back up the ramp, even though I'd already made the jump.
Interesting. I guess that goes into another thing that I do during my matches is I just do not look at my other opponents when they're racing, just simply because I don't want that to like factor into me becoming more anxious or becoming overly confident. And I kind of just want to be blind and sort of just count on my own skills in a vacuum. And then whatever my opponent hits, he's hitting of his own accord. So yeah, that's another thing. Just find it a bit strange. DK is a weird stage.
Yeah. My third lap time almost was a valid 3 lap time, but
Is getting there.
yeah.
It could be on, Moo Moo Farm or Mario Raceway.
Absolutely.
All
Yeah.
right, fellas. Well, I think
Yeah.
I'm going to call it here.
Feel better.
Give my voice a rest. I'm glad that I was able to make it through, and I was glad that you all put on a show for everyone.
Thank you for hosting, and thank you everyone for coming, and thank you
Yeah,
Glass for the good match.
indeed. The pleasure's mine. Once again, well done. You brought it close, Chumbo.
Did my best.
You've got lots of potential. I think you're gonna make it pretty far on the non-shorted lap.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Right. I'm not gonna drag things too much out further. Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
All right.
Take
Thank
care.
you, gamers. Talk to you
Bye.
later.
See you later.
All right, everyone. Well, that was an action-packed match. I'm just checking if we are allowed to raid from SpeedGaming. Does anyone know in the chat? I'm not clear on this. Well, you know what? I guess never mind. Even though I am streaming, I'm not a mod myself, so I can't do any rating. So that's that then. Well, thank you everyone for watching. We appreciate you coming out to watch this one try match. We do have more action coming from Divisions 2, 3, and 4. And so look out for that playoff action coming to SpeedGaming again in the coming weeks. Have a good night, and thank you again for watching.